Good morning. I know you're in listen only mode, Lori. I'll say hi. Don't say hi back. I can't hear you. Wait a couple of minutes for everybody to get in. 9 people are registered today. Uh, Welcome everyone to our 12-3 Z School series, episode 3. Today we're going to do some basic customizations on a brand new CRM system. In session 1, we created a Zoho 1 system from scratch. Just set up the basics and how to manage and do that. Session 2 was just really what's in Zoho 1. We took a tour of the almost 60 apps that are in there, devoting an entire 20 seconds to each one, but there's a lot in there. You should be aware of what's in there so that you can hopefully save money and not have to go out and buy something else when you already have it as part of Zoho 1. So today we're actually going to start building. We're going to spend time on CRM. I have just logged into my Zoho 1 system. Hopefully everybody sees my screen. Because it's a brand new system, Zoho is going to do a lot of, would you like to take a tour? You're going to get a lot of flyouts and pop-ups saying, here's where you do this, here's where you do that. So I'm going to skip the tour, say maybe later. This is also the new Zoho 1 interface. If you're a Zoho 1 user already, you may or may not have it. It's called Spaces. We'll do a session on that. This is a brand new clean demo system that we are building from scratch. I know to go to the sales button here, and my CRM is in here. In fact, here's CRM. And again, we're getting some first time stuff. It wants to know the name of our company. I'm calling it 12-3 Z School. My name is user 1 on this little system. I'm going to put in I'll put in my phone number because an employee count, again, not mandatory. They want to know how many employees you have. This is actually a 2-user system they give us. When we set up the system, we told it we were in Eastern time, that we use English as our language and our currency is US dollars. Zoho is a multi-language, multi-time zone, multi-currency system. Some users can use different languages. Normally, I would tell you never to load sample data. I'm going to actually use that this time. It's going to put about 100 or so fake contact records into your system. Normally you don't want that because they're not real people and you're going to have to get them out of there at some point. But for play purposes, I'm going to load the data. So we're going to actually click get started. Again, it wants us to do a lot of create our pipeline, set up our email. I'm going to show you how to do all that in subsequent sessions. So we're going to skip the videos. We're just going to skip everything. We are in our brand new plain system. We're on something called Home. I'm going to go to a little PowerPoint I created just to explain what we're doing today. Our sample data is coming in at the moment. It's telling us that. So today we're going to do the basics of customization. We have to customize our CRM to fit our business. CRM out of the box is very plain and generic. it'll have some fields in there that you don't want, and you're going to want to add some other fields for your particular business. Um, I'm going to go over a few definitions first before we go in and start building. So CRM is composed of modules, they call them. In fact, if I go back to CRM, you'll see I'm in the modules view here. There are many modules here. I'm going to talk about them in PowerPoint in here. The major ones, to me, the primary ones are leads, contacts, accounts, and deals. If most people use those, then there's some activity related ones like your phone calls, tasks, and meetings. Those are modules. Then you can get down into things like invoices and sales orders. To be honest with you, most people do that in their accounting system, which might be Zoho Books. It might be something entirely. So we'll actually turn those modules off if we have to. If you're not going to use them, let's not deal with them. And so primary modules, leads. A lead is kind of a person you don't know very well. It could be someone who filled out a web form on your site. It could be a list of names you purchased where you just have like name and email. You don't know the address. You don't know a lot about them. So a lead is kind of a new person to the system. The goal of a lead is that one day you will convert it to a contact. It's kind of standard in CRM systems today. In the old days, 20, 30 years ago, contact management systems, the precursors to CRM, didn't have a leads module. You put everybody into one module called contacts. All your contacts were in there, your best customers and your rawest leads. Sometimes you had 50,000 people in there and 49,000 of them you never really talked to. So the idea is leads are people that you need to qualify, you need to learn more about. The goal is to one day convert them into a contact or delete them if they're spam, if they're nothing. So you may not use leads, but most people do. And it's a newer concept in CRM systems. I like it. It kind of separates the wheat from the chaff a little bit. Contacts are qualified people that you actually contacted. You know more about them. Contacts are usually associated to what they call an account. You can also call it a company. You can rename these things. You could call contacts, you could call them patients if you were in a medical business. They're people. Uh, Generally, the term Zoho calls them contacts. They call companies accounts. You can call them companies if you like. Um, a company can have many contacts. Could have 100 people there. Could have 500 people there. And then you have a thing called the deals, are also called opportunities. Those are pending sales that the salespeople have identified. It's where you kind of keep your pipeline, your pending business. Those deals are attached to accounts and or contacts. So I have a sale pending with this person at this company. You normally cannot attach a deal to a lead. You can bend a Zoho to do that, but out of the box, it won't do it. So generally, you get leads, you convert them to contacts. They can be part of an account, a company, and then you create deals. Those are the four primary modules. Those are the ones we're going to work on today. This is what I call, these are my term, secondary modules, but we have a module where we keep our phone calls, meetings, and tasks. I call those activity modules, and so does Zoho. You'll see here, if I go back to Zoho, under sales, I've got my leads, contacts, accounts, and deals. Under activities, I've got my tasks and meetings. We've got other types of modules, finance related, quotes, sales orders, invoices. We could keep that data in here as well. To me, usually I tell people use Zoho Books. If you have Zoho One, you have Zoho Books. That's a real accounting system. There are service related modules, something called cases and solutions. A case is like a customer service issue or a ticket, a tech support ticket. Customer may open up a case with you. You will resolve it with a solution. Generally turn those off, but you can use them, they're there. Again, Zoho has a product called Zoho Desk, which is like Zoho Books, kind of built for that purpose, better use. And then finally, you can create your own modules. You got to become a little bit of a data scientist here to understand what you want to do. I want to talk about this. We kind of have a decision to make today. What kind of business do we want to be in our hypothetical CRM here? There are broadly two kinds of data. I mean, there's all kinds of data and there's all kinds of, qualities to data. But there's something I call one-to-one data, and that is uh, like a birthday. Most people have one birthday. That we don't need to track a person and their 7 birthdays because they wouldn't have 7 birthdays, or they would have one social security number. They have one eye color. So in that case, you would just make a field in the contact record. If you want to know their birthday, you put a birthday field in there, and you just need one. But then there's other kinds of data, which is called one-to-many, parent-child, relational data. That is like how many automobiles does that person own? Some people own many. Some people have many pets or children. If I were an insurance agent, I might sell them, 3 car insurance policies, a home insurance policy, a life insurance policy. So I might have 5 policies or 10. So then you want to make a module, and you can create a custom module called insurance policies. And we would have data in there like, is it life or home or auto? What's the number? What's the effective date? Who the issuer is? If I were a veterinarian, I might want to know how many pets a contact has, and are they a dog or a cat or a tarantula? What's the name? What's the birthday? Are they living or dead? And so you can create a custom module. If you're a veterinarian, you might have a pet module. I know Paul's in the group here. He rents vacation property. So he might actually have a rentals module under a contact. With every time a contact stays with you, you would create a start date, end date, payment status, things like that. So again, that's very unique to your business, and that's the beauty of custom modules. Again, going back 20, 30 years with products like ACT, which I know many of you are familiar with, it was hard to create custom modules. You create were large flat files. Anyway, modules are the way to go. Today, I hope to show you how to do that. Again, we go kind of quick here because these are recordings. You can watch them many times and slow them down. I'm going to show you how to start customizing a system. We'll take a quick tour of what's in there first. I'll show you, for example, we'll go to accounts module. I have these sample records in here. You see they all got a phone number. I'll just pick the King sample account, open it. This is what it looks like. We have some fields here like who owns the account. This is the Zoho user kind of responsible for the account. We've got some addresses here, a billing and shipping address. We've got some fields in here that's like annual revenue, number of employees, SIC code, their stock ticker symbol. This is what came with Zoho. It may be useful to you, but it might not be. So we might want to remove some of these and put in our own fields. So how do you do that? To make structural changes to CRM, you need to be what's called an administrator. When we set up CRM, we gave this user admin rights. We have a second user in here who does not have admin rights. So you got to be an admin. If you're an admin, there's a little gear either up here at the top right. There are other Zoho interfaces. I'm going to show a different way to get to CRM with a different URL, and I bet you Zoho looks different. This is the same CRM, Let me make it larger for you. Same CRM. I used a different URL to get to it. And now you see the gears down here on the lower left. So I just don't want to confuse you, but if I run CRM out of Zoho 1, the gear is going to be in the upper right. If I use CRM directly, I went right to crm.zoho.com. It's the same CRM with the same King company, but now the gear is down here. So find the gear, generally top right, bottom left. I'm going to click on the gear and you get this whole setup. Again, there's some new first time user stuff. Your quick setup is pending. And I'm going to cancel it. We're going to do our own setup. We're going to go to customization modules and fields. During the course of our Z School, we're going to cover almost all this stuff. There's a lot in here that you can customize your CRM for. It's what we do for people, but we like to teach people how to do it. We don't have to do everything here. So I'm going to click on modules and fields. And I get a list of all my modules here: leads, contacts, accounts, deals. Over here, I can turn them on or off. You'll see a couple I can't turn off. I can turn off accounts. I can't turn off leads and contacts. I probably can turn them off. I know what's stopping me. But if I were to go down here to say cases and solutions, and I go, I don't want to use that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to deal with it. I can turn them off. And they can be turned on later. So like there's a Google Ads thing. We'll turn that off for now. We'll leave the social media on. But anyway, you can kind of simplify your interface and turn off a lot of things that you do not use. I'm going to go back up to accounts. I'm going to click on it. And it takes me to a list of layouts. You can actually have up to 4 different layouts, or 3. I don't know, one or the other. I don't recommend you have a lot of layouts because you got to maintain them. But let's say an account was a customer. And if it's a customer, you need to know like 10 more things. You need to know their customer ID, their plan that they're under, So I might want to have a second layout for customers that has much more detail in it. I can do that. And so once an account goes in the system, it's kind of simple. I change a value on a field to customer, and all of a sudden a bunch of stuff pops up. I could do it with a different layout. I could also do it with something called layout rules. Going to teach you that later. Right now, I'm going to go to our one layout, standard layout, click on it, and I'm in the layout builder. This is what we just saw earlier. I've got fields for account owner, an account name, an account number. There's the annual revenue field and the SIC code. So the simplest thing to do right now is to get rid of the fields you don't want. I'm going to point out over here under unused fields, you don't see anything. I'm going to take SIC code, click on the 3 dots, and I'm going to remove this field. And it says you're about to remove it. You sure you want to? I said yes. And now I have one unused field. If I click in here, it's the SIC code. It's gone off the layout. But if I change my mind, I can put it back. Any data that was in those fields was kept, will return. So if you're not sure about a field, you can move it into this little limbo here. It's off the layout, and you can always bring it back if you change your mind. If I want to permanently remove it forever and all the data it might have been in there, there's a little garbage can. Oh, well, let me delete that one. Really? That's new, different. So I'm going to delete some other stuff in here. I may not care about annual revenue. So it always warns you. Now I've got 2 unused fields. I'll take the ticker symbol off because I don't care about that. And, we could keep going here. So I have some address information here. I have some descriptions. That's all I have. Another thing I might want to do is repurpose or rename some of the fields in here. Usually you can, sometimes you can't. Uh, couldn't be more vague about that. But say under employees, think I can go to edit properties and I could change, nope, it'll say I cannot edit this field. So some of the fields that come with Zoho, they lock it down and there's reasons for it. Um, and so you might be a little frustrated. Like a lot of people, this billing code is really it's a postal code, but we in the US we like to call it zip, and I can't change that. I could remove that field, put a different one in there, but you got to be careful. So when you see the system defined fields, best to leave them alone or ask us. Um, I am going to, we will create a field in here and I'll call it, uh, I'm going to get rid of rating because, that's another system field that I generally don't like, just personal. But I'm going to create a field called status. It's a lot like what they call rating, but I like to call it status. When you're adding fields to the system, you have to think about what kind of field you want. You'll see here, this is where you get into that data science. A field could be a date, it could be a number, it could be a currency, a money field. A number, by the way, is an integer. A decimal is a number with fraction, point something something. So if I wanted a field in here like interest rate, I'd want to use a decimal. A common field is called a pick list field, which is a menu you pick from. You can also pick multiple things off a menu. That's called a multi-select field. So I think for status, I'm going to use a pick list. I'm going to drag it over here, place it on my form, call it status. Under my options now, I might say they're a prospect. Always good to spell correctly. Or they are an active account, or they are an inactive account. They were a customer, but haven't bought anything in a while. So, and I could keep going. I could hit this plus and have up to, I believe, 500 values in here. Might be 1,000, a lot. By the way, if you do have a lot of values in here, you don't have to manually add each one. In this little gear, I can go to add bulk options and just type each one on a line or paste in a list if I have a list from, say, Excel, and add them, and then they would all be there. You don't have to type them in individually. There are some options down here I want to go over. Every field's different. So for pick list, we could say all new accounts get the value of prospect. So when I'm creating an account for the first time, they're probably a prospect. I could change it, but I want to give them a value right out of the box. I don't want to have to manually go in there and set every new one to a prospect. I can leave them in the order that I've put them in here, but I could also alphabetize it. If your list is long, you should alphabetize it. Otherwise, you got to fish through a long list. Kind of a neat new feature they added a couple of years ago is I can set color. So a prospect could be orange, but active could be green, and active could be red. I can make this field required. Means I cannot create an account without filling in this field. It has to be put in. Be a little careful with that. If you make a lot of fields required, people will just put something in there just to be able to get the record in, even though they may not know their status or they may not know their birthday. So if you make birthday required, they're going to just put something in there to to get past it. Just be aware of that. I'm going to hit done, and now I have a status field here. I didn't make it required. Required fields are red, but again, I can go to the three dots, mark it as required. I can go into edit properties and I can add a fourth status if I want. I can change things. The other thing you might notice, it's kind of subtle, is that the brown fields, the slightly tan ones, these are custom fields you created. So I have just created a pick list field on the account form, and I'm going to hit save and close. We're done. I added one field to the system. I'm still in the admin layout rules or layout section. I'm going to go back to this folder, which is my modules folder, and I'm going to open up the King record. I have a status field now. That stock ticker symbol and those other fields are gone. I can go to status here now, hit the little pencil, and there's my, they're a prospect, and then confirm it. So we gave it an orange color, so it looks like that. For people who have had Zoho for a while, I want to just show you a couple more things. They added a new field in here called radio button. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Go back to modules and fields. I will, on my leads module, we'll go to leads just to look at that. Again, there's a standard layout. Here's our layout builder. There are things in here that I don't think you would ever ask a lead, like, their number of employees and their Skype ID. So you would get this stuff out of here. You may not, generally leads, when you make them fill out a web form, you don't make them fill out a lot of information, they'll quit. And so you get the basics. To me, a lead field, you could ask them their annual revenue. They might put it in. But I'm going to create a field over here now called, it's not on our demo system yet. I take it back. The radio buttons are not in here. Well, we'll save that for when it shows up. It's in our partner systems, coming to customers soon. We'll add one more field here. I'm going to add a checkbox that says checkbox, just a little checkbox. I'm going to say send promo emails. So this is a customer I want to send promotional emails to. Again, I go back to my modules, leads. I'll pull up a random lead. Christopher here. I could now check the box. I want him to get the promo email. So what I can then do is filter, go through all my leads and only send to the people who are checked. Checkbox field. And so what normally with these fields, there are 4 things you could do. Obviously, you got to find a field before you can do anything to it. So you go to the gear, you go to modules and fields, you find the module you want to be in, like leads, and then you find your field. From there, you can edit the field. I can come in here and give it send. I might want to call it send marketing emails. I've just made it an edit to it. I can also go in here, edit the properties. Checkboxes are very simple. They're either yes or no, right? You saw a pick list. I could give it colors and I could set the menu, make it required. Here, it's just a checkbox, so there's not a whole lot you can do with it. So I can create a new field. I can move a field over to the unused section. I can drag it around the screen if I want. And this is how you customize it to fit your business. You might say, I don't need to know number of employees. It just doesn't matter to me. But if I were like an insurance company and I'm doing employee health insurance, I'd like to know if there's 5 people in the company or 5,000. So again, every business is a little bit different. Kind of coming up on time, so I don't know if I can do a custom module. What I'm going to do now is open it up to questions. Just want to review quickly. Oh, by the way, make sure you save and close. It's something you'll learn the hard way, is that you'll make all these changes and like cancel out, nothing changed. So you go to your module, you go to the gear, modules and fields, pick your module, go to the layout, and then make your changes and save it. People will see those like the next time they do a refresh. It's very quick. If you want to turn modules off, you can come over here and turn them off with these switches. Here's where we would create a new module. I think I'll save that for another session. I will stop recording and I will open it up to questions. Thank you for attending. Well, you know what? Let's just review this real quick. So CRM is full of modules. Main ones are leads, contacts, accounts, and deals. Then we have stuff that are related to those, like the activity on a contact or the activity on a lead, or the finances on a contact or an account, or the services. And then finally you have custom modules. So you can add, I think, depending on the level of CRM you have, it's between 20 and 50 custom modules. You can make a very complicated system. Obviously it's more to train and more to build. I also say, before you go in and start modifying your CRM, it's good to have a plan. Think about, what do you want to know on a contact? What's required? Do you want to know birthdays? You can have security, which I'll talk about security at a different date. But let's say I did have a social security number field. I'm an insurance agent and I need to know your social. I could make it visible to some people and not others. I might want to prevent people from entering that. Only certain people can put one in or see it. So you can do that. So when you build this system, it's kind of, what fields do you want? What modules do you want? If it's a pick list, what values in the pick list do you want? Who can see it? Who can change it? It can get complicated on a big system. So before you go in and start like moving things around, you might want to have a plan. And the best way to build that plan is with experience. Hate to say that. So I'll stop recording.